Hi, it's me, Sharon. And guess what? I put on a little makeup today. It's been a long time, but I put a little bit on, put some in my eyes, put some foundation on. Yeah, it's been a minute, but I did it. So I'm getting better. I'll have my hair done too, probably next week sometimes. Anyway, today I want to tell you a little something about me. I know some of you think my page, my Facebook, and all of my stuff is so provocative, and I'm trying to just say all kinds of stuff and whatever. But you have to understand my personality. And some people have even said, that is not of God. God doesn't do that. Well, you guys, if you read about Jesus, Jesus was a contrarian, and that's what I am. He came and he wasn't what they thought he was going to be. He was different. He told the truth. He didn't patty cake them. He was opposed to tradition. He was opposed to the, what do you call them? The Pharisees and the Sadducees and all of their practices, and you have to do things, and you have to do things like this, and you have to do things like that. No, he wasn't down with that. He was like, no, we don't, forget all that. We're not doing all of this. This is a new thing. He said he came to do a new thing. And so he's not, if you really read the scripture and you really read the Gospels, you'll find he's not anything like people say that he is. He would speak the truth whether people wanted to hear it or not. When Peter told him, I forget what he told him, to do something or whatever, and he's like, "Get behind me, Satan." So he's like, "I'm not hearing that. That ain't true, and I'm not going with that. Get behind me, Satan." Now, if somebody said something to you like that, you would probably be offended. But Jesus just said it the way it was. He called the Pharisees, "You whitewashed tombs and sepulchres." I can't say that words. "You whitewashed tombs, you vipers, you pit of vipers." Now, does that sound like the Jesus you know? No, not really. But that's who he was. That's how he acted. That's what he said. He spent time with people that other people wouldn't spend time with. With the woman at the well. Men didn't even talk to women back then. And he stopped, he talked to her. He said, hey, go call your husband. And she's like, I don't have a husband. He said, you said right. You don't have, the man you're with now is not your husband. And you've had 5 others or 4 others, and they weren't your husband either. Now, if somebody said that to somebody right now, "Hey girl, go get your husband." And she said, I don't have a husband. He said, "Yeah, I know you don't. But that guy you shacking with now, he ain't your husband, and you didn't have 5 or 6 other men that you was shacking with too." They would be offended. However, she was like, "Oh, I perceive you're a prophet." And anyway, he continued to talk to her, and she finally got it. And he told her that those that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. And she finally got it, and she went off and told a lot of people about him. The disciples didn't even like the fact that he stopped and talked to her, because men didn't talk to women, and she was a Samaritan. So he was not who people make him out to be. He wasn't just loving. That's not what love is. Like, oh, you have to be so nice. He wasn't like that. He was like, he was a contrarian. He did things opposite of what those people thought he was going to do. He loved people, but he also corrected people. And, even when he went to Jairus' house when Jairus' daughter had died, and all the people were in there wailing, they were just crying, oh, she's dead. Because they would hire people who wailed for when people died. And he said, "Put them out." Put them out. And he put them out, and then he raised her. Then what about when the disciples, they were all sitting around on the hill, and there was like 5,000 men, and no telling how many women and children. It might have been 15,000 people out there on that hill, and they'd been out there for a day or two. And the disciples said, "The people are hungry. What are we going to do? They need to go and get some food." And Jesus said, "No, you feed them." They're like, dude, where are we going to get enough food to feed 10,000 people, right? And Jesus said, here, what do you have? We have some fish, we have some loaves. He took the fish and loaves, he broke them, and there was enough for all of those people, and there was 12 baskets left over. So what I'm saying to you is, don't always judge people by your church ways, your religious ways. Maybe God's called them to something else. Maybe God's called them to be someone else. God uses my personality in the way he uses it. And I've asked him about it, and he told me that. So that's what I have to say about that. But also, my husband is Lakota, and in the Lakota culture, there's something called a heyoka. And a heyoka is a contrarian. It's a person who is different. They kind of, I'm trying to read it. It says they do the opposite of other people. They're kind of like a jester and a satirist. And that's what I am. I do a lot of satire. I put up stuff to provoke discussion and to see what people really think, and so that people can look inside themselves and see what they really think about certain things. And then also, if I think it's wrong, I'm going to say something about it. I think it's wrong that Tyler Perry puts all that sex in his movies when he was doing shows and movies for a Christian audience, and also because he professes to be a Christian man. I've seen him on TBN and lots of other places. To put that in his movies, I think that is not good. And if nobody else wants to say it, I'm going to say it. I'm like the little boy with the Emperor's New Clothes who says, nobody else would say that he didn't have any clothes on. And I'm like, the little boy, you're naked, dude. You're butt naked out here walking around. Okay? So if you hear me saying stuff or whatever, I mean, I think somebody said something when I said something about T.D. Jakes. I actually was defending T.D. Jakes. I was saying, well, I still haven't seen any receipts that say that T.D. Jakes has done what people are saying he's doing. I put that on my Facebook page. Well, somebody said to me, oh, well, believers shouldn't really talk about that. Well, why not? And I said, why not? And they said, it's messy. Well, it's messy. This is messy. It's messy that they're accusing this man of that. Now, he may have done it. I don't know. But at this point, we see no receipts. So I'm going to talk about stuff that people don't want to talk about, think they shouldn't talk about, because that's who I am. And that's who God made me to be. That's my personality. That's who I've always been. And that's who God made me to be. Now, if you don't like it, I can't help that. If you, it's not your thing, you don't have to be on my page. You can hide it, my page, or you could do whatever you want to. But I'm going to do me, you do me, you. Make sure you're doing what God has for you to do, okay? And as that little kid said in that little video, worry about yourself. Worry about yourself. What are you doing? Worry about yourself. Anyway, subscribe, like, and I forget what's the other one. Share. Thank you. Goodbye.